Yo, what's good, YouTube? This is Jay from TNJ, and we're coming up on the start of June here in Season 2 in this Mariners franchise on MLB The Show 19, and we are a day away from the MLB draft. And remember last year's draft, we had a pretty good draft. You know, we had a lot of pieces that are going to make sense for us going into the future, especially with guys like Mitch Haniger and our outfield kind of being a little spotty. Malik Smith and Domingo Santana are all right, but we do need a third and fourth outfielder, it seems like, for the future, and we had those pieces last year in the first year player draft. So here we are going into Season 2's draft, and let's just look at the top players selected. William Messer, and the thing about that I don't like about the draft as far as the computer goes is that they always go for guys that are 80 potential but are like 6 or 7 years away from even like sniffing the MLB, and like a lot of their guys are like 45 overall, like 50 overall. Like those guys are like not gonna make it up to the majors anytime soon. So we do look at this guy, Eddie Zepeda, here in the first round. He's 80 potential, looking like he's 70 overall. You can just see his power potential is amazing. And look at that arm strength as well. I mean, he's at 70 arm strength right now, and he's got a chance to be 80. I like him here in the first round. I think he's our best bet here. So we're going to go with Zepeda there, as here we go into the second round. Reggie Gutierrez is a good starting pitcher. I like him. He's 20 years old, and he's 80 potential as well. And we have quite a bit for him scouted. I kind of like having the computer scout these guys better than I like to scout them individually. Seems like they do a better job of just spreading it out a little bit. So now we move on to the third round. Cliff Fisher is here. He's 22 years old, out of New York. MLB ETA is 2022. He is 75 potential, but I like him as well. He's a pretty good player. So then we make it to the fourth round. Robert Quick we kind of look at for a second, but then I kind of settle on this guy, Enrique Julio. He is 55 overall, 80 potential. He's definitely a guy that's a little older, 23 years old, but at 8, if he ends up being an 8 potential, I think I can use him in a couple of trade chips as well. I don't know. We'll have to see. I don't know how that's going to shape out. I usually don't like to draft first baseman because you can always get first base. You can always move somebody to first base, and it just makes sense to, you know, get a guy that's potentially a potential. So we end up getting him. So we do make one more selection here as we kind of, our field is kind of narrowed down. So we end up drafting a catcher there in the 6th round. And let's just look at our picks here as we kind of go down the line. Eddie Zepeda, I don't know how you say that, Zepeda, but he's B potential, 71 overall. Look at his power. It's pretty good right now. At 22 years old, he's got good arm strength. He's got decent speed as a shortstop. I really like this guy. I think I can develop him quite a bit, and I think that he has a good chance of moving up in our organization pretty quickly. Reggie Gutierrez ends up being a little lower, B potential, 59 overall, but he is 20 years old. He can develop. Cliff Fisher, he's pretty good. Strikeouts per 9 is 80, and he's a B potential, 72 overall guy. He's 22 years old. He's definitely got some time to improve on his game. I really like that pick a lot. And look what happens. Enrique Julio ends up being a potential 57 overall. This is a good sign. He actually has pretty good hitting zones, but his fielding isn't that good. He can't really run. He's a first baseman, so not expected, but he has good vision and discipline, which is pretty good. I can see him being a part of some type of trade. I don't know if he's ever going to make it up in our organization, but he's a good draft chip to have and a good prospect to maybe even develop. I don't know. Tim Crum ends up being a decent catcher. Not great, not horrible, but just decent. So let's just look at the rest of our division. The Oakland Athletics, you know, they had one good player there, but like I said, they always draft these guys that are like 40-something overall, 50 overall, and it kind of bothers me a little bit because I feel like I'm taking advantage a little bit because all these teams don't know how to draft. But looking at the Angels, they actually did a pretty good job in the draft. They got a few B potential guys, and I think they're in good position here in this draft, as the bottom of the draft wasn't as good, but, you know, they had a pretty good top end of the draft. So then let's just look at last year's draft picks. Ronald Marte was a 71 overall guy when we drafted him. He's now up to 74, and he is hitting the ball well. He is leading our organization in batting average as far as minor leaguers go. 327. He is hitting like a madman here in his first year in our organization, and he's actually at AAA, which actually surprised me because a guy like Kyle Lewis is struggling, so I had to move him down to AA. Then looking at Warner Zamora, who was our top pick last year. He is 21 years old, 69 overall. He's just getting better. I really like what he's doing. I'm going to replace those two. I'm going to swap those two, Kyle Lewis and Zamora, and see how they do at each level. And we hop into some gameplay. Let's see Ronald Marte in the game. Here he is in his first at-bat here in this next game, and he grounds out to shortstop, but that's an error, so he does reach base there as he is hitting leadoff here at AAA. So up comes Warner Zamora, his first at-bat at the AAA level. On a 1-1 count, he swings at a pitch on the outside part of the plate, and it's going to get down to left field as he's on his horse. But look at the left fielder. Bruh. He's walking to the ball as Zamora around second and heads to third. He's going to slide in safe. I have no idea why the left fielder was walking on that one. So let's move on to Marte's next at-bat. He gets a hanger on a 1-2 count. He's taking it the opposite field, and that one is going to drop in, and that's going to be a single, his first hit of the game. So I'm going to focus in on these two guys. Here's Zamora up next, 1-for-1 so far. He gets a pitch to hit on the lower part of the plate, and he's going to hit a liner right back up the middle, but that one is run down there in the fourth inning. So up comes Ronald Marte here for his third at-bat. 1-for-2 so far in this game. He gets another inside pitch, and he has the muscle to muscle it to right field, and that one is going to drop, and it's going to advance the runner to third base as he goes 2-for-3 in this game. It's pretty good to see him hitting well because, man, I think, you know, he's got a shot. I don't know if it's going to be this year, but he's got a shot next year to be a starting second baseman, even though his fielding is bad. We'll see. Maybe he'll even DH. So now up for his fourth at-bat here. He hits one hard up the middle, and that one is right to the second baseman as that brings up the end of the game here as we do end up losing this game. But I liked what I saw from Zamora and also Ronald Marte. I mean, those guys look good, especially Marte. He's hitting about 330, and that is a good sign for him. So a couple episodes, we did move Max Posey down. I had him at AAA, and he actually was really good last year, but definitely has taken a dip. And I want to see what he can do here. He is 6'8", 26 years old, and he's not old, but he's not young. So I just want to see what I got with him because he is kind of battling for, you know, the top pitcher in the organization right beside Justin Dunn. We did have Justice Sheffield in the minors, but he's not at the majors, and I just want to see what he can do. So here he is in his first start here at AA, facing Cody at the plate, and he's giving up a hit to the right center gap. And Jared Kelenic, who is our top overall prospect right now, he comes up throwing, and the runner is going to hold at third base there as it brings up the 4-hole hitter. Max Posey does get the out here. Now they have 2 outs in the inning, and that brings up Duenas here in the 5th spot. He's going to hit one up the middle, but it's going to be fielded and thrown to first base for the out, and we are going to get out of that jam. So on to the second inning. Here's Max Posey still on the mound. He's giving up a hit once again, and I don't know about Max Posey. If you give up this many hits early on in games, I don't think you're ready yet. I want to see somebody who can shut the opposing offense down. Here he gives up another hit, so no outs here in the second inning. His second straight inning with a jam. So now here comes the 8-hole hitter up to the plate, and he's going to walk as well. So now up comes a 9-hitter. Can't let this guy go, but he is going to walk him. So he's having command issues, as you guys can see, walking in a run here in the second. So now the top of the lineup comes back up. Here's a pop fly to right field. There's Kyle Lewis there in right field, and he is going to field that one, and that's going to be the first out of this second inning. So now the 1-2 count. Here comes the second hole hitter up to the plate. He's going to miss on the curveball as the 3-hole hitter does come up, Cody, and he misses on the curveball. He's going to watch that one go by. So Posey doesn't look that good. I got to admit, he doesn't look that good. I think he still needs some development. But speaking of development, this is the guy I'm really looking forward to developing. Jarred Kelenic, our top overall prospect in our organization. He hits one deep to center field, and that one is right at the warning track, as he is 0 for 2 in this game. He's hitting around 250, so I don't want to panic there with him. Don't want to rush him at all. I know he's going to be good. But here on a 3-2 count here in the 5th inning, he gets a hit up the middle, and that one is going to drive in a run. And you can just see the score. We're down 7-1 right now as Jarred Kelenic gets the first RBI across the plate. So now on to the bottom of the 7th inning. 1 for 3 in this game. Kelenic, 1-2 count. He gets one on the outside part of the plate. He's going to take that one the opposite way, and that one is going to drop into left field. And that is a 2 for 4 game so far for him. So now I move into the bottom of the 9th. He's the last out of the game. On a 1-1 count, he gets a pitch over the middle, and that one is going to be crushed, and it's not coming back. That's a home run. Jarred Kelenic, who was actually on a tear in real life. I believe he's hitting like 330 in real life. And look at him now, just taking that one deep. That was a meatball right over the middle of the plate. And we go on to lose that game 7-3, but I just wanted to highlight some guys, Jarred Kelenic and also Max Posey at the AA level. I want to see what they can do, as Kelenic impressed, Posey not so much. So I do want to highlight a couple of guys in AAA. Daniel Hyde, who's actually having a pretty good year. He's 1.20 whip. He was our 4th round draft pick last year. And then Justin Dunn, we moved him up to AAA. In his first start, he had 6 innings of work, 5 strikeouts. He's got a .95 whip. I want to see him improve, and I think he has a chance to really be good. So that's going to do it for this episode. I want to just go through the draft, go through last year players draft, and just see those guys in action. So that's going to do it. So hit subscribe, hit that like button. We're going to hop hard into June, so you don't want to miss that one. Stay tuned. Let's get it. Let's go.